In the news, 1 killed, 2 abducted as bandits attack Katsina community amid ongoing efforts to address insecurity in Northeast. Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema recovers from COVID-19 as another Lagos Council boss dies from the disease. And 3 killed, dozens injured as passenger train derails in Scotland. A warm welcome to News Now. I am Oyi Adekunle. Amid efforts by the federal and state governments to address ongoing growing insecurity across the country, especially in the northeast, bandits have staged a fresh attack in Faskari local government area of Katsina State, killing 1 person and abducting 2 others. According to reports, the attack occurred at about 12:30 a.m. in the town of Gidangizo. Witnesses say the assailants, who stormed the community on motorcycles, ransacked houses and demanded for money from occupants. It was in the process that 1 person was shot at close range while 4 others sustained injuries. The attack is coming days after Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari told President Muhammadu Buhari that the security situation in the state is under control. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Air Force says it will deploy air assets as well as regiment and special forces personnel to Gombe State to beef up existing security arrangements in the fight against insurgency and other related crimes in the zone. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar gave the assurance when he met with Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya at the force headquarters in Abuja. In a statement released after the meeting, the Air Chief said the force, in conjunction with other security agencies, would continue to work tirelessly to secure the Northeast and defend Nigeria's territorial integrity. And still on security matters, the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria says light tactical vehicles and other weapons produced locally by its company will help in addressing Nigeria's internal security challenges. Director General of the corporation, Major General Victor Ezugo, said this when the Minister of Defense toured production lines of the company in Kaduna State. Ezugo revealed that Deacon has produced some military equipment, including a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles and ammunitions, which have been deployed in various theaters of operations across the country. On his part, the Minister of Defense assured the federal government will strengthen Deacon to become the country's center of armament rather than relying heavily on foreign countries for military equipment and logistics. And to ensure safety of lives and property, the federal government has been urged to grant licenses to responsible citizens to carry sophisticated weapons such as AK-47 rifles. Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom made the request on Wednesday during a virtual meeting convened by Center for Values and Leadership in collaboration with Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF. According to the governor, the policy should be backed by a strict legal framework to prevent illegal possession of arms by the citizenry. Ortom also recommended adequate funding of security agencies and continuous training of their personnel to enable them to be abreast of global dynamics in the fight against insecurity. His demand is coming in the wake of increased attacks by bandits and insurgents in northern Nigeria. And talking politics now, the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, has called on politicians to de-escalate the tension building up ahead of the Edo State governorship election. In its pre-election briefing, the CDD said its observations and interactions have suggested that there is a stockpiling of small arms and light weapons in the state, adding that there have been several near-violent incidents, especially during campaign processions. The CDD stressed that the activities of 2 parties are suggestive of the notion that the lives and electoral objectives of politicians are more important than the health and well-being of the citizen voters. To address these issues, the center recommended the enforcement of provisions of the Electoral Act to prosecute political actors seeking to undermine the September 19 election in Edo State. The federal and state government has been charged to put in place policies that will ensure youth engagement and development across the country. This call is in line with this year's International Youth Day celebration themed Youth Engagement for Global Action. In line with the celebration, the government was charged to come up with unique ways to engage young people at the local, national and global levels to ensure adequate contribution to the growth of the nation. Statistics show that majority of Nigeria's young youth populations are either unemployed or underemployed. A group of Nigerian youth has called for the immediate arrest and subsequent prosecution of the spokesperson of the coalition of the United Political Parties CUP, Imo Ugochinyere, over alleged use of incisive and inflammatory remarks. Ugochinyere is accused of perfecting plans to cause massive violence in the country. Convener of the group, Godstime Samuel, during a press briefing in Abuja, further adds that if security agencies fail to effect the arrest, the Nigerian youths will take the matter into their hands.
We are giving the National Security Advisor, the Department of State Security Services, the IG of Police, and other relevant security agencies 7 days to apprehend the CUPP spokesperson and all those sponsoring acts of terrorism and treason in any guise. They should investigate them and charge them for their inglorious role in inciting the citizens for a forceful change of government. Otherwise, we Nigerian youths will make arrests of these persons by ourselves and do it the Aluta way. Nobody is more Nigerian than the other. Nobody, we say, is more Nigerian than the other. Where the rise of any other Nigerian stops is where the rise of Nigerian youth commences. If Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari is not the president of Nigeria, as said by Ikenga Ugochinyere, we want to all equivocally say that President Muhammadu Buhari is our president and president of over 40 million Nigerian youths. Any further attack on Mr. President will be visited with unprecedented reprisal, legitimate Aluta attack.
The Governing Council of the University of Lagos, Unilag, has removed Oluwatoyin Ogundipe as the Vice-Chancellor of the institution. Ogundipe was sacked at the council's meeting held at the headquarters of the National Universities Commission in Abuja. He had earlier been accused of financial impropriety and gross misconduct. Mikhail Mumuni, the media advisor to the chairman of the Governing Council, Wale Babalakin, confirmed the developments but said only the registrar of the university can provide details of Ogundipe's removal. Let's take a break here, but still to come. Russia rejects safety concerns about COVID-19 vaccine as UK economy slips into worst recession in decades. These and more when we return.
It's about the files your secretary presented to me regarding the company's salary. Yes, the figures don't seem to add up. I suspect there's some form of a
discrepancy.
Precisely, sir.
Keep the figure that way.
That's fraudulent, sir.
That's my money.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't do that, sir.
See how padded your teeth are. Are you telling me you cannot pad up figures?
Sir, padding is against best auditing practices, and it's a form of corruption.
It's true. Accountant.
You were testing. Thank you, sir.
That's it. Bagoli.
Yes, sir.
You are fired.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine, sir. Rather than watch corruption grow under my watch. Padding is a form of corruption and not in my country, sir.
Corruption not in my country. Stop corruption now.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, here are some of our top stories at this hour. Bandits have staged a fresh attack in Faskari local government area of Katsina State, killing one person and abducting two others. Witnesses say the assailants, who stormed the community on motorcycles, ransacked houses and demanded money from occupants. The attack is coming days after Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari told President Muhammadu Buhari that the security situation in the state is under control. And to ensure safety of lives and property, the federal government has been urged to grant licenses to responsible citizens to carry sophisticated weapons such as AK-47 rifles. Benue State Governor Samuel Autumn made the request on Wednesday. Autumn, however, stressed that such policy should be backed by a strict legal framework to prevent illegal possession of arms by the citizenry. The Governing Council of the University of Lagos, Unilag, has removed Oluwatoyin Ogundipe as the Vice-Chancellor of the institution. Ogundipe, who had earlier been accused of financial impropriety and gross misconduct, was sacked at the Council's meeting, which held today at the headquarters of the National Universities Commission, Abuja. Let's now shift focus to the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is inching towards the 50,000 mark after the country confirmed 423 new cases. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, which announces national figures, revealed that the new cases were spread across 21 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Lagos had the highest number of new infections with 117 cases, followed by the FCT with 40 cases, while Ondo and Rivers States recorded 35 and 28 cases respectively. They take the country's total number of cases to 47,290. But out of that number, 33,609 patients have been discharged, while 956 people have lost their lives. Babatunde Oke, chairman of Onigbongbo Local Council Development Area of Lagos State, is dead. Oke died of COVID-19 complications on Wednesday. The deceased, who was serving his second term as the council chairman, was said to have been sick for some time but recovered before the Salah break. He, however, relapsed after celebrations and was taken to the hospital where he died. Oke's death comes 2 months after Augustine Arogundade, chairman of Agbado Okiodo Local Government Development Area, died from COVID-19 complications. But not all bad news, as Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema has recovered from COVID-19 after 3 weeks in isolation. Onyema tested positive on July 19 after he felt a slight irritation in his throat. But in a tweet from his verified Twitter handle on Wednesday, the minister said his latest COVID-19 test results came back negative. He has now returned to work and was given a cheering welcome by staff of the Foreign Affairs Ministry. The Federal Executive Council has approved 8.5 billion naira for the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. The sum is meant for the procurement of 12 items in various quantities for the testing of COVID-19 in the country. The approval, which was given at a meeting of the council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, was based on a memorandum presented by the council by Minister of Health, Osage Ehanire.
This memo is the result of Presidential Task Force COVID-19 and the Special Intervention Fund for COVID-19, which is operated by the Presidential Task Force, which allocated these resources for NCDC preparedness. So we are procuring testing materials right from sample materials to other kits for diagnostics in our laboratory systems, to be able to respond properly to the community transmission phase. We have already made plans to have at least one sample collection site in every local government, minimum of 774, and these resources will be necessary to go around the 774 local government areas to ensure that persons in rural areas or small towns are not excluded.
Russia's health minister Mikhail Murashko has rejected allegations that the country's COVID-19 vaccine is unsafe, dismissing them as groundless and leveled by rival competitors. President Vladimir Putin announced the development of the vaccine on Tuesday. The Russian minister dismissed concerns about the low number of clinical trials undergone to develop the vaccine. He said a special app was currently under development to enable the recipients of the vaccination to monitor any adverse effects of the drug. The federal government says Air Peace will recall some of the pilots it sacked. The airline had announced the sack of the pilots earlier in August as part of the company's efforts to cushion the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on its operations. After the action, the National Association of Airline Pilots and Engineers had given the airline a 2-week ultimatum to recall the sacked workers or face industrial action. But James Odaudu, Director of Public Affairs of the Ministry of Aviation, said at a meeting on Tuesday that the management of Air Peace has agreed to recall some of the pilots who lost their jobs. The United Kingdom slipped into its first recession since 2009 after its economy shrank a record 20.4% in the second quarter. The slump follows a 2.2% drop in the first 3 months of 2020, raising more questions about the British government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Office for National Statistics, the country is in the largest recession on record. The drop in the UK economy is greater than the 18.5% second quarter contraction reported by Spain. The US economy also shrank 9.5% during the same period. Let's now take a break here and return with Fidelia Agoncha, who's standing by for business news.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
On TV360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country. I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly. God forbid that I go to join that band.
TV360, providing clarity to issues.
Welcome back. Let's now join Fidelia Aguncha to give us the latest in the world of business. Fidelia, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Uyi. The Debt Management Office has said the federal government will auction 150 billion naira worth of bonds by subscription on August 19. A circular by the GMO showed a breakdown of the figure to include a 25 billion naira 10-year reopening bond that would mature in January 2026 and be offered at 12.5%, and a 40 billion naira 15-year reopening bond that would mature in March 2035 and be offered at 12.5%. It also showed a 45 billion naira 25-year reopening bond that would mature in July 2045 and be offered at 9.8%, and the longest tenor of a 40 billion naira 30-year reopening bond to be offered at 12.98%. According to the DMO, the settlement date for the bonds is August 21st, 2020. The federal government bonds worth 130 billion naira, which were auctioned in July, were oversubscribed by 340.13 billion naira. The Oil and Gas Workers Union in Abuja have threatened to down tools by Friday if the federal government fails to pay its members 3 months' salary arrears. The union, made up of agencies under the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, during a protest today in Abuja, alleged that the government stopped paying their salaries after they refused to register with the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPIS.
IPPI is a platform that we have said repeatedly is defective, does not support our peculiarities. We are currently on another government platform, GIVMIS, that's Government Integrated Financial Information Management System, GIVMIS, that is domiciled in CBN, run by the same Accountant General of the Federation. And the question we ask is that nobody up to now, since 2010, has faulted GIVMIS. IPPIS is not foolproof. That is why every year we get to see IPPIS come out to tell us they've caught ghost workers. They've caught ghost workers. Because the system itself is fraught with irregularities. Why withhold our salaries? We have issues. I mean, IPPIS, it is a known fact. You've seen the problems they've had with ASU and other bodies. And we are saying that come and clear our doubts. Is that too much for Ministry of Finance to do? We have peculiarities.
Government is doing what it needs to do. We'll address all these issues squarely. We will also address them within this ministry. As I said, I'll speak with the minister and the relevant departments. I've already spoken to the Accountant General of the Federation before coming down. So to plead with you is to give us a little bit of time. As I said, I understand how you feel. I understand how you feel, and I understand also your importance in the economy.
Oil prices moved higher on Wednesday after an industry report showed that U.S. inventories of crude fell more than analysts expected, bolstering hopes that fuel demand in the world's biggest economy can weather the coronavirus pandemic. Brent crude was up by 52 cents at $45.02 a barrel after falling around 1% on Tuesday, while West Texas Intermediate crude was up by 49 cents at $42.10 a barrel, having dropped by 0.8% in the previous session. The American Petroleum Institute, API, said on Tuesday that crude stocks fell by 4 million barrels last week, more than analyst expectations of draw of 2.9 million barrels. We will now shift focus to the stock market after this break. Renewed bargain hunting activities pushed the NSE to its first breakthrough for the week today, with crucial market indicators recording a marginal increase of 1.04%. Now, this was impacted by gains in major blue chip equities. Topping the list of 4 best performers today was Seplat right here with a 35 naira increase in the value of its share price. It is closely followed by Airtel Africa, which gained by 32 naira, and it was also a good day for Presco and Okumu Oil, both posting a combined gain of 6 naira and 50 kobo. But on the flip side, BUA Cement slipped by 25 cover to lead the pack of losers, and it is closely trailed by banking equities, Access Bank right here, and Zenith Bank taking the second and third spot on the losers chart, while Champion PLC completes the list of 4. Now, in summary, over 204 million shares were transacted in 3,636 deals, and they were all worth 3.8 million naira. Well, let's now move to the foreign scene and see what's happening over there. It's all greens right now. As you can see, the UK market, FTSE, finished 135 points higher to close in the positive territory, pushing up by 2.04%. The Dow Jones is also rising by 0.95%, and it was also a good day for Nikkei, whose value increased by 0.41%. Well, that's it from the world of business. It's back to Ooni Adekunle.
Thank you very much, Fidelia. Moving on now to the foreign scene. At least 3 people have been confirmed dead after a passenger train derailed near Stonehaven in Aberdeenshire. It is thought that the train hit a landslide after heavy rain and thunderstorms, which caused flooding and travel disruptions across Scotland. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon described it as an extremely serious incident, adding that the derailment had happened in a very difficult location for emergency services to access. About 30 emergency service vehicles, including air ambulance support, have been called to the scene. The 2020-2021 Champions League preliminary round match between KF Drita and Linfield in Leon has been postponed after a second player from the Kosovo club tested positive for coronavirus. According to UEFA, the Swiss health authorities took the decision to place Drita's entire team into quarantine as the player had been in contact with other squad members. He tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday, having initially returned a negative test last week. Another player had contracted the virus on the eve of Drita's game on Saturday against Inter Escaldes of Andorra. UEFA's control and disciplinary body will, however, decide whether the match can be rescheduled for a later date. Under the UEFA protocol for European competitions, a team must have 13 healthy players, including a goalkeeper, for a match to go ahead. And that's it on News Now at this hour. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.